identifies overlapping programs costing taxpayers billions of dollars every year. More than 100 such programs dealing with surface transportation, for instance, the overlap costing about $58 billion annually. 82 different programs that monitor teacher quality, 80 for economic development, 47 programs for training scattered throughout the federal government, 20 for the homeless, and 17 for disaster preparedness. It is all right here in black and white, 345 pages of basically government waste documented by a government agency. Well, now lawmakers from both parties are calling for mandatory hearings based on this report's findings. Joining us now, Congressman Gardner, Republican from Colorado, and Congressman Gary Peters, Democrat from Michigan. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us. Congressman Gardner, sometimes you get the impression, reading through some of this, that if the federal government were a private business, it would go broke.
Well, and people aren't surprised, unfortunately, that the right hand isn't talking to the left hand in government, but it's time that we put a little budgetary slim fast in place and start cutting out the waste and inefficiency. Well,
and here is the nice thing. You two come from different parties, but you're wanting to attack this thing together and basically take advantage of what's in this report.
Absolutely. This should not be a partisan issue. This should be bipartisan. We need to see more of that here in Washington. And we've come together saying that, we don't want to see waste. We don't want to see inefficiency. We need to stand up and say enough's enough. Let's do things more efficiently and do them better.
Well, and the problem, as you know, Congressman Peters, is that very often these GAO reports, they come up with some great information, and somebody sticks them on a shelf and never looks at them again.
Well, that's right, and that's why we think it's so important to have legislation. It's great to be with Congressman Gardner on this legislation, saying let's put it in law, let's put it in statute, that within 90 days committees need to take it up. We can't keep kicking the can down the road. We've got to take action, and we're standing up and saying let's do it in a bipartisan fashion, and let's make some sense out of government.
Congressman Gardner, what's been the reaction on Capitol Hill from your fellow members?
Well, that's exactly right. To keep this from becoming just dust in another Washington pile, we've got to actually put this to work. And so the people we've talked to in Capitol Hill are excited. It's got over 20 co-sponsors right now. The people at home are excited. And again, it's not about just reporting for reporting's sake. It's actually about doing the work, getting it done, and cutting spending.
Well, for instance, Congressman Gardner, how does it wind up that you wind up with, or how do you wind up with all of these duplicative programs? Because so many government agencies are free to do their own thing and set up their own, say, program for the homeless?
Well, it's Congress's fault in oversight. It's trying to do too much for too many, and it's simply not doing our role in watching how government is spending the money. And so we need to do a better job of making sure people are communicating and we're eliminating that waste.
Congressman Peters, as you know, pretty poisonous partisan atmosphere in many respects in that building where you work right now. The fact that you are coming together on this as a Democrat and Congressman Gardner a Republican, are you getting a better reaction?
We certainly are, and I think that's what we need to do more of. We're committed to working together in a bipartisan fashion. We can't accomplish things. I think that was the big lesson of this last election, was the American people said we need to get things done in Congress. You need to roll up your sleeves, be practical problem solvers, put the partisanship aside and just solve practical problems. And I think we all agree that we need to have a more efficient government. And when you have duplication, unnecessary duplication, that doesn't serve anybody. We've got to fix this problem, and we can do it together.
Congressman Gary Peters is a Democrat from Michigan. Congressman Gardner, a Republican from my home state of Colorado. Gentlemen, thank you. We wish you well trying to get to the bottom of this.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.